There we go, and we're live. Hey, Shaggy SoCal Tour for Forza. Time for the second track guide for this, and what will be the final race for this season of TNT and the C8.R. We're at Le Mans, and this one's going to be a little interesting. As far as track guide, I don't know if I'm going to do exactly what I normally do. We'll see. We'll see. But I definitely want to do at least an outlap. I'll probably just do one outlap and then do the brisk track walk because it's such a long circuit. And then I'll run the mock race with what I think is the race distance. Plus, I need to practice on the hard tire compound because it's going to be interesting in some of the corners. But let's just go ahead and just get right into it. Start race. So for this, obviously, no downforce. You want as much straight line speed as you can muster. And I will be using a 6-gear tune. We'll take it a little bit easy through here. And still a little bit cold on the tires. Alright, so let's just do a fast lap here at Le Mans. Try to do a fast lap. So I'm not using, in this game, I'm not using as much of the left side as I did in the previous game. Turn on, I can use a little bit of the curving there. Brake right before the total signs. Third gear, ideally. I think, at least for me, it gives me the best throttle control out as far as managing the wheel spin if I'm not running TC. Braking into the S's is about right where the pavement changes from new to old. Third geared here. Braking is right at just a brisk brake, get it into Tete Rouge. Now, tires are still not up to temp, but the exit of Tete Rouge isn't as heinous as far as bumps as it was in the previous game. Track limits also on the Mulsanne. We've got basically if it's a big, that's it. But I'll probably straddle the line here heading down the first chicane. Trees are a good sign to keep in mind. I'm still working on the braking here. I haven't, especially in the hard tire, I haven't quite gotten it right yet. But usually as you're heading down the Mulsanne, if you've got somebody in front of you, you can't, like when you're right on the bumper, the trees can help guide you. I'll try and point that out a little bit better on the slower lap. Though I don't have a definitive braking point that I've kind of lined up with the suggested line. So again, I'm going to straddle the line out here. Next set of trees, past that. And the third, again, tighter exit on the second chicane. Tighter apex on that second chicane. Again, the game is very generous in the track limits, but there is a slight pavement change. You can just barely see it at speed, but it doesn't seem to impact the grip at all. But I think I'm going to be neat and tidy and probably keep it. Still working on the braking there. The timing of it, I'll get into what I'm trying to do. I just haven't done enough laps to get it into rhythm. Is to try and use as much of the left side as I can to open the Mulsanne corner. Generous track limits. For the big pine tree. Quick on the brake and down to third. Without messing up the braking or without messing up the corner. I like third there, just again, I can get the power down a little easier. I've seen different things. I like to keep the car to the left here, head down towards the Porsche curves, and then just let the car just naturally come out to the right side. And then bring it back to the left. Braking is right before the wire. So yeah, the little sector guide is actually a good braking point. It just sucks that it's not there during the race. Fifth gear through here. Hopefully a better line than what I just did. Down to fourth. This part of the Porsche curves. A little bit loose getting in there. Heading to the fourth chicane. And and abuse the curbs here. Straddle them. Take that as straight as possible, especially here. I'm always late for that one. And we got better track limits. Go ahead and use them. So that's a lap of them on. I want to slow it down a little bit. So I'm in fifth gear here. I used to use a lot of the exit curbing across, and I might even during the race. But I'm finding the turn-in point is still right about where the blend line is for the exit of pit lane. Not really having to brake, but at least for me, it is a lift of the throttle to get the car turned in, and usually I'm rolling right back in. Ideally, I'm trying to late apex it. I might cross over the curbing a little bit, and then the braking for the Dunlop chicane here is right. It's now the total energy sign there on the right side. That's usually a good reference point. I think we're not typically on that side of the track taking those signs out, so that to me is a good reference point to get the car slowed down. You also notice, at least on your slower laps out, that you'll notice there's usually a little bit of a yellow brake if you're not quite up to the full speed, that you'll see just past the apex, and that where it goes red again kind of lines up with that sign as well. For me, brake from fifth gear down to third, ideally third. If I get the turn in right, if you're in traffic, you might need to go to second. But what I'm going to try and do is, again, left, right. I'm going to try and sacrifice the left to keep it to the left side in third gear and try to open up the right-hander here. Come onto the Dunlop bridge. Keep it to the left here, bring it back across. Again, fourth gear, braking for this next set of S's is right with this pavement as I totally blow the braking. For me, it's just past where the pavement changes. So where it goes back to new pavement to old pavement, just past that for me is where I'm going to be looking to brake. Usually drop it down to third gear. Again, apex here a little bit, maybe a little bit late, bring it back across. Little hump there on the exit, third, fourth. So the braking for Tete Rouge, again, our little sector thing is kind of lined up with the course condition lights, which is usually what I tend to look for in the race, to help guide me in for Tete Rouge. So I'm kind of looking for that course condition. It is probably a quick brush of the brake and turn in. I'm going to use it. This is where I'm going to talk about what I'm going to try to do. Whether I can do it or not is a different story. I am gonna use the curbing here. I'm gonna probably try to use it as much as I can, not get on the sausage curbing on the further inside. The exit, again, ideally, it used to be, it used to be the track limits. If we got out this far, track limits we were getting track limits, but then these sausage curbs were like deadly as far as what they did to the car. They don't seem to be as bad. But if I do it right, if I'm going to use any of the exit curbing, it's just going to be this immediate blue and yellow curbing here on the inside. I really do want to stay off the sausage curbing. For me on the hard tires, it's really going to be tough on the first lap or two, just because the car, I just won't have as much grip. So if I'm not careful on my entry, it's like, I'll just push wide and keep going down. And as I saw there, this can give you pretty big penalties still. So if I do it right, usually I bring it back to the right side here at this part. I might let it drift out. I'll try to keep a consistent line, but then bring the car, this next kink, let the car come all the way out. Let me slow down here a little bit. And what I wanted to point out is we do have pretty generous track limits, so you can use all of them all. Basically, if it's paved, you can use it. But I just want to point out that you can kind of see that once you can kind of see the change in coloration from inside the white lines to over here. This pavement is a smidgen. It looks a smidgen rougher. At least in my own driving on it, it doesn't appear to be dangerous at all. Where it's like, oh, it's gravelly or like that, it's going to upset the car. But I, just from my own visual and like that, I probably will stay off of that. But I will straddle the white line here and down into the first chicane. Might even cheat a little bit more to the left, but generally where it's really, you can see that that strip of slightly rougher pavement to the left side, I most likely will not use that at all. We'll see. I say that now, but um, we'll see where that is. We'll see how we do in the race. So heading on the first chicane, I'm still struggling to see it. Like there, wow, there's a 200 board. I'm struggling to see that. So what I'm looking at is, again, Forza. They put the sector marker in right about where you're going to be braking for the first chicane. So I'm kind of looking as you're heading down the Mulsanne. You know, you can see on the left side here, there's not a lot of trees. For when the patch of trees there, kind of, if you need something to kind of look at to kind of gauge how close you're getting, where you start seeing a whole bunch of trees, after getting out of Tete Rouge again, that's a little bit too late to start braking at that point, but at least gives you an idea of I need to be looking to get on the braking there. Now that I've slowed it down and paying a little more attention to what's the track side, you can also use, if you can spot it, you can use the catch fencing with tarps on it here, where that ends. Also is a good indication. If you might even be able to spot if you can spot the red tent. So again, it's really just trying to gauge what you can see at speed, to help you figure out your braking if you can't see the braking line. I would also be a little, I don't trust the braking line yet, just because I'm still coming to terms with what I got to deal with the hard tires. But brake. There's the 100 board. That's way too late. I think I'm going to try and do this in third gear if I can. But I haven't done it right yet. But turn in here, I'll probably miss this apex more often than not. And I'm going to use as much of the curbing here as it's going to let me. I'll probably take out that bollard there, and then roll back into the throttle, third gear, and start rolling through. Again, I might kiss that curbing. I might stay off of it just because I'm trying to keep consistent power down. Bring the car to the right side or left side, and then starting bringing it back to the right side as you head up to the second chicane on the Mulsanne. Too much talking, not enough breathing. Too much yawning. Again, bring the car back to the right side. I'll probably be straddling the line. You could actually be all the way over if you want, but I think for me, just out of habit, this is probably where I'll be setting up for the next chicane. For this one, instead of, it's when again, I'm still trying to figure out the reference points, again, for this version of Forza, but it seems like, again, you've got the sector thing to help you, but it looks like the sector guide is right before another kind of patch of trees, but you can actually brake a little bit past that. So usually as you're passing the first big tree there, the braking is going to be just about here, I think. We'll see. Again, sixth gear, I'm going to probably bring it down to third, and I'm going to cut across this curbing here, bring it in. Your apex for this one is late, and the bollards are a good indicator. Third gear on the way out, and then I'm going to use this curbing on the way out, bring the car out to the right side. Again, you could probably go all the way up to the arm if you wanted to, but I'll probably straddle the line out of habit. Again, bring the car back to the left side, heading down to Mulsanne Corner. Now, what I'm going to try and do, and maybe it's just easier in the faster prototypes, but I'm still working out where, at this point, what I want to try and do is I want to try and apex it at the curbing, let the car go out. I'm going to try and use as much of the left side as I can, straddling the line, to open up the Mulsanne Corner, so I can get a good run out of it. I'm still trying to figure out where exactly I'm going to be turning in at. Again, my eyes, I'm not picking up the braking boards as easily, and there's not as much bright colors on the walls or anything there. So I'm probably going to have to use trees. Maybe now that I'm seeing that, we'll see how easy it is to spot that during the race, as far as to start to bring the car back across. Braking, we'll figure it out, but usually, if I do it right, it'll be brake here to the apex, let the car come out, still being on the brakes, and maybe starting to release the brakes, but I'm going to try and bring the car out as far, well, that's a little too far, but bring the car out as far as I can, so then I can take out some bollards and get through the Mulsanne Corner. Now, most likely second gear for me. Okay, the run down towards Indianapolis. So again, this is another one, full throttle. This is the apex there. Next apex is right there at the next sign. That would be to use it. So the braking. I'm going to slow it down. The catch fence used to be much easier to see, but I think what I'm using, let me back it up here a little bit. Again, I'm having to use trees because my eyes at this point, I'm still not picking up the braking boards as easily. But that big evergreen or that big tree right past the 200 board is probably a good reference that as I get to it, it's just a quick on the brake. Actually, we'll see what correlates with the inside. Again, things look different at speed. You know, that tree also kind of correlates if you can spot it. The tree's easier to spot at a distance, but that also seems to line up with, and we'll see how I do this in the race. Also, just past the 100 board is where the curbing changes to that, you know, that green kind of slightly softer material there on the left side. So that might be a good place to use for your braking point if you're struggling. But it's not a really heavy brake. It's just a quick touch of the brake, still in 6th gear. Bring the car to the apex, keep the car to the right side. As soon as you get it straight, this is then where I will really get on the brakes, bring the car down to 3rd gear for the next corner. I'm going to stay off the outside curbing, 3rd gear. Try to stay off the outside curbing here as well, 3rd gear. I'll either wind it up in 3rd gear, maybe bring it to 4th, all the way out, just before the curbing on the left side. Brake down, shift to 2nd, again opening that up. Try to use a little bit of the curbing there. And out of Indianapolis, well, actually, Indianapolis was the bank left-hander. Before that, that was Arnage, who's the sharp right-hander. Give it the left side, let the car drift out to the right, and just bring the car back over to the left. Now, where I'm still trying to set this up is that you do need, you know, I'll be in 5th gear, maybe 6th, but for me, Porsche curves on my own, most of them is in 5th. So I'm still trying to sort out the braking point, and this is, again, I'm still learning, you know, what the visual things I can look at for static references in this game compared to the previous. There used to be a more definitive, you know, the course condition light was a little bit easier to see. I think there was a TV camera position there as well in the previous game. We still have the telephone wire going across the track. That's probably, excuse me, that's probably a little late. If you wait till you cross under that. Again, the sector board is probably a good reference. You know, it's like, yeah, it's probably the ideal spot to whoa up, get the car slowed down in a little bit to turn in for the Porsche curves, but it's not there during the race. It doesn't help me learn. It's great for tracking time, but so the braking is just kind of maybe just right as you're about to get to the green, but it is just a quick break to just slow the car down a little bit. You can get turned in, release. I'll be in 5th gear and back on the throttle. If you do this right, you should be able to be back on the throttle and pretty much be full throttle through here in 5th. Now, maybe on the initial turn in, you might need to back off the throttle a little bit. We'll see how we do in the race. Here is a definite, just another trail brake down to 4th. Keep the car to the right side. And usually turn in for me is, and again, I'm probably still relying on the braking line more than I should, but it seems to be, you know, if I'm looking at things, if I'm, you know, things in the peripheral, that second telephone pole there on the right side, as that's going out of view, is usually when I'm starting to look to turn in for the corner here. Again, try to stay off the sausage curves. The exit here isn't as horrible as it used to be. I'm going to stay off of that as I yawn. Again, then just keep this straightened out. Cross over here a little bit. Head down here. Braking for the Ford chicanes is right as you get to the pit lane entry. So heavy braking, brake. I'm going to be down in 3rd probably for this. And I would say try, you know, the ideal line is to take it as straight as you can and abuse the curves. The game's going to let you. Same thing here, brake down to second gear. I'm always late for the first part of the chicane, but ideally I want to try and get it here so that I can really straighten this out onto the front straight. And that's a lap of Le Mans. It's a little over 4 minutes. I think, at least for me, it's a little over 4 minutes, but let's get into a race and see what happens on the hard tire compound. Let's go ahead and hit that. Let's go ahead and exit. We'll quit race and we'll reset up here. And I think for me, I really want to test. I don't care if I win my practice races or not. For me, it's really just being in traffic. And even, yes, it is AI. They may do things, well, it's hit or miss. But my hope is, for me, it's about drafting on the Mulsanne. I really want to get used to that. How close can I be? What should I look to do? Full circuit, number of laps. We're going to do 7 because I think that'll put us close to a 30-minute race. We're going to go random. And time aggression, we're going to go random. But I reserve the right to reload if the game gives me rain. 28 driver tires again. Or 23, 28. 23 driver tires. Looking at the 8. Go to cars, Forza GT, stay in the Corvette family. For rules, we still have, okay, so I'm actually just going to do a standing start. We're going to do it random. But I'm going to drop to the back on the start. Okay. Le Mans. We'll let the little nice lady give us an intro.
The Le Mans Full Circuit is home to the world's most prestigious 24-hour endurance race, where the most important car builders battle for the ultimate motorsports bragging rights.
All true. No lies detected. Okay, so car, fuel and tire, and so we're going to go hard compound, and we're saying 7 laps, so I will, and I don't like having to mess with fuel load during the race, so we'll just put in the fuel I need. And we're on the hard tire compound. And let's start race. Looks like wow, I am at the back. That's good. I like it. Try and stay in last place until we get on the Mulsanne. So I know they're all bunched together, so it's going to be a little bit of a cluster until wow. Nobody's gone off yet. Space. As everybody's going to check up. Okay, now we'll go. They're just still cold. I'm going to ease off. I lost track of where I was. Oh, and I almost got rear-ended. still in a bit of a crowd. We're going to back off a little early. I didn't get my braking right there. It's like, why do you brake there? You don't need to. Okay, so I'm at least downshifting once there. We'll see if I do that again. Oof. Nope, that was way too late. Got a little too far out. So let's see, I think, yeah. If you get in the gravel, there's this little access road here. Just go ahead and get to that. And then just try to bring yourself back onto the track without taking anybody out. That was probably not the best rejoin I could have done, but I got traffic in front of me. Thank you, I'll take those. Late, but I'll work with it. Oh, mealworm, give me that draft. Good. That was a good test of... I was hoping I didn't make 6 gear too short. I wanted to get a little bit of RPM room for the draft. Make this stick this time. Sounds like mealworm went into the gravel. That's about what I want to do. The trick to that one is, get to the brakes as late as possible, but have the angle that they can bring the car out to the left side without shooting straight off and getting track limits. late on that second braking there. All right, let's see if I do this right this time. Gonna brake a little bit earlier. A little confidence lift. Lift here. Yeah, definitely lift through here. Down to fourth. Oh, turn in a little too early.
Penalty is about 1.5 seconds.
Wow. Hit me. Alright, so where's my turn in here? Turn in, actually, I was wrong. Ooh, that's not good for the engine. So there's a white marker out on the left side of the track that's on the outside curbing. Probably your best bet as far as, you know, have the car out at that point and start turning in then. A little bit of damage to the engine, not horrible. Rodeo, I'm gonna be my drafting partner. Let's see if I can push you. Okay, so I backed off the second I saw, you know, kind of like the catch fencing with the tarp on the left side. That's a good time to back off. And I backed off a little dramatically, but if you're that close behind somebody, just ease off the throttle so you can get a little distance and give yourself some room for to brake so you're not running into it. Wow, that came from a long way back. Get the line right, third gear is going to be good for Mulsanne. Better. I think I turned it a little bit aggressively there just because, like, no rodeo. I know you're an AI, but no, you're not passing. You shall not pass. Okay, so it's probably still a little early, but that's a conservative thing there. There's a black and white signboard on the left side just before they enter the Porsche curve. So that's probably going to be my reference more often than not. And at speed, my eyes aren't good enough to read what it says. I just know that black and white sign. Still a little bit late there. Okay, so for this turn in here, I'm going to keep it the left side. Look for the white painted mark on the curving here on the left side. Right there. That's a good reference to help with to help find your turn in as I completely slide through the Belmont chicane. Okay, we will pit at the end of this lap. Late. See if I can get close enough to lane rail to get some draft down the next part of the Mulsanne. Nope, not close enough, but I think I'm gaining enough that probably I should be close enough on the exit of the Mulsanne corner, maybe to get a draft down towards Indianapolis. Let's see. A little bit late. I did the exact same thing. I've got a little bit of the draft, but I'm not going to be... Alright, so... that sign there was on the left, so that is a braking board. It might be blue and white. Oop, no, keep it forth. Excuse me, lane rail. Pits, and where is it going to catch me? Ah, good. So the pit lane catches you nice and early, so you don't have to. We don't have to worry about people and skipping across the chicane there. All right. Stay on hard tires. We'll skip that, and we'll do drivetrain, even though. It says I've got a little bit of damage. I don't know what. I know in Forza 7, we're going to get spit out early, but I don't think we have the choice of. Okay, so what'll probably happen is that, much like Laguna, the second you get released, you're going to need to cross back over and use the main pit lane all the way out. Again, I don't know why. They didn't update the game to use it, but anyhow. That'll be a topic for discussion on Thursday. That's better. Wow, I'm all the way back in 23rd. Fortunately, I don't have anybody to draft with right now. So yeah, it looks like braking for this chicane is right where, at least for me, is right where the fence ends with the tarps on it, to keep spectators from watching. Looks like that's a good reference point. They can spot it. And the same thing here, it is that second tree as you get up towards the second chicane, and that last overhanging branch right here that I'm going to pass under right now. If you can't see the braking line, but you can kind of spot that tree and that overhanging branch, that might be helpful. Missing shifts, that's not helpful. Still not getting the car slowed down enough. That's going to be the issue with Le Mans, is because of the long straights. You can already see, you're going to have cold tires going into about every fast corner. That was pretty good. Just by the time just about when I get enough heat in them. Being a little bit conservative here. That's a didn't get enough braking done. Really need to. That actually was pretty good. I'll take that. 2 to go. Wow, whole cluster there if I can get up to them. They bunch up and slow themselves down. So I think I'm turning a little too late there. carried a little bit too much speed in. That bump is still there on the outside. That doesn't help me catch Scorpio. Let's see if I can do a little bit better through the push curves. Still turning in a little early. Maybe fourth gear. It's just better in general through the whole Porsche curves. Late. Oh, that's going to make this last lap interesting.
One more lap.
You can see it's like, yeah, I think I've got a steering problem. What do you think? This is why we practice. Come on, turn. So I can get all the mistakes out of the way before Thursday. Question is, can I still put in a decent enough lap? I know, I'm going to get a big penalty for that one. Oh, no. Okay, I guess because I was slow. The question is you know, it's only 11-second lead. I don't know, but we'll see if I can hold that. Definitely not catching the wheels. It just doesn't want to stop. Maybe I should just quit the race at this point. Well, lesson learned. Don't bin it out of the Ford chicane, or you're in for a world of hurt and for an entire lap. Yeah. All right, so let's just bring it home. I got a little bit of drafting work, so I think gearing wise I'm good. So I just need to make sure I work on throttle application. Maybe I just need to not drop it to the second gear out of the Ford Chicane. But yeah. Yeah, you think my steering, if you could see the wheel, yeah, I think my steering's a little messed up. Turn. You can use a little more of that curving than I thought. I was always trying to keep two tires on pavement, but it looks like you can use a little bit more of that curving. So that's Le Mans. Yeah, so 30 minutes. Yeah, it's 7 laps. It might be 6. It just depends on. Yeah, I think it depends on qualifying. If we do a qualifying race or not. And again, I'm on the harder compound, so I won't be putting up. There should be people that should be able to get under 4-minute 4. I think is what I did on the soft tires. So, but that's Le Mans. So have fun practicing. Be careful on the throttle, and hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you on Thursday night, and happy racing.